and S-Class models.
From WECT Wilmington, where news comes first. This is News 6 Nightcast, voted best newscast by the Radio Television News Directors Association of the Carolinas.
The Space Shuttle Discovery poised on the launch pad. This is a live picture from Kennedy Space Center, where the mission is a go despite a last-minute mishap. Good evening. It's good to have you with us. I'm Jim Hanchett. Francis has the evening off. We'll get to the shuttle story in a moment. First, though, advocates of a return to the look of school days before the space age are making their pitch tonight. We're talking about uniforms, mandatory uniforms in New Hanover County schools. School board members tonight are considering that very possibility. WECT News 6's Samuel King has the story. It's new at 11.
As school board members discuss the merits of uniforms, Mark Williams and his middle school-aged daughter, Natalie, disagree over whether it's needed.
Fashion's definitely in, and it's important to be in, and I think that distracts from the learning that's supposed to take place.
I disagree because you'll have to wear the same thing every day, and it doesn't show your individuality of what you like to wear.
Students raised those same concerns back in 1999 when the school board last considered requiring uniforms. Instead, the board opted for a dress code. But now some board members say it's not enough.
Well, I think everybody knows that the dress code is hardly being enforced, so we need to look at other options.
But Ed Higgins, who was on the school board in 1999, is skeptical about how schools would enforce the uniform rules.
You're going to send him home and say, well, you can't come back to school until you are willing to wear your uniform? Then what are we doing with a child? We're depriving them of an education.
And school board members stress this is just the first step of any discussions about uniforms. They say it could be a couple of years before we see uniforms in our schools. In Wilmington, Samuel King, WECT, News 6.
Here's another view of the future of education. This is new at 11. Textbooks are about to be out of style at a high school in Arizona. 350 students will receive laptop computers for the entire academic year. The school will become the first in Arizona to go completely wireless. Parents will be responsible for the computers, but an insurance plan can be purchased to protect those laptops if the kids spill a Coke on them. Laptops may represent the future, but the State Transportation Department says it wants to return the all-aboard days of the past to Wilmington, bringing passenger rail service back to the city. The DOT is suggesting two lines, one to Goldsboro, the other to Fayetteville. In both cities, passengers could connect to trains to Raleigh. The DOT proposes construction of a train station in the block bounded by 3rd, 4th, Red Cross, and Campbell Streets in downtown Wilmington. The DOT revealing those plans at a meeting of city leaders today. Mayor Spence Broadhurst endorsed the idea, although it's an ambitious and expensive project, and it's unlikely you'll hear all aboard for at least several years. There's new information tonight about the people who blew up the trains in London. In a surprise turnaround, British police say today that at least one and perhaps all four of last Thursday's terrorists in London were suicide bombers and homegrown. Young British Muslims from central England, say police sources. They say the four met at the King's Cross station Thursday, then split up, three blowing themselves up in subway cars, one on the bus, perhaps on his way to ambush first responders to the subway attacks. Individual, hard-to-stop suicide bombing had not hit the West until now. A man accused of double murder is back in Wilmington and could eventually face the death penalty. Stacey Lee Wynn faced a judge today for the murders of Lawrence Harrison and Damon Jones back in April. Authorities arrested Wynn earlier this month in South Carolina after a long search. Wynn appeared calm at his first appearance. His mother was also inside the courtroom. Assistant District Attorney John David says if Wynn is convicted, he could be sentenced to death row at the state prison in Raleigh. Two local sheriffs are facing a lawsuit over a jail suicide. Relatives of Dwayne Frink are suing Columbus County Sheriff Chris Patton and Robeson Sheriff Kenneth Seeley and others, claiming better communications between the two counties could have prevented Frink from taking his own life 2 years ago. Now, Frink was in jail for theft and assault with a deadly weapon. A follow-up now to one of the area's most high-profile searches in the last decade. 4-year-old Kanande Bennett was reported missing from the Whiteville Kmart in the fall of 2002, but police didn't buy the story, charging the girl's mother and father with homicide by child abuse. After their arrest, the couple paid bond and were allowed to live in their homes, where they have been ever since. We asked the South Carolina prosecutor why nearly 2.5 years have now passed without a trial.
Don't you think the public deserves to know when they're going to go to trial?
That little girl deserves to be found, and we need a good case to prosecute. Absolutely, and that's what we're going to do. And
well, when? It's been 2.5 years since they've been arrested.
I understand how long it's been since it's been arrested, and you've got to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. This is only the third no-body case that's ever been tried in South Carolina.
Kanande's mother is Vartasha McCollum. Her lawyer says she wants this murder case to go to trial immediately. Well, this is new at 11. Wilmington City officials tonight outlined steps they want to take to prevent another massive sewage spill. 3 million gallons of raw sewage flowed into Hewlett's Creek after equipment malfunctioned nearly 2 weeks ago. Fish were killed and the water was fouled for days by that spill. Tonight, Wilmington City Council members say they've been inundated with calls from angry residents, and they asked the city's Public Works director why it took 5 hours to divert the flow of sewage and start repairs.
In hindsight, I think we probably should have shut it down a little bit earlier than we did and gotten on with the business of making that repair.
Our restrictions on swimming and fishing in Hewlett's Creek remain in place tonight. George?
Well, it's warm, it's humid out there. We have a typical summer-like pattern. The only atypical thing about this pattern is how early the hurricane season has started and how active it has been. And Emily, the tropical storm, intensifying as it moves across the Atlantic. A closer look at that and how strong we'll get in just a minute. How about tomorrow morning here? Partly cloudy, a little spot shower possible. It's warm, it's humid, mid to high 70s. And that's just in the early morning, Jim.
All right, thanks, George. Speaking of hurricanes, we're seeing some new pictures of damage left behind by Hurricane Dennis. This oil platform in the Gulf of Mexico is leaning awkwardly. The Coast Guard shot these pictures of the platform known as Thunder. It's under construction about 150 miles southeast of New Orleans, not yet producing oil. It had been evacuated Friday in advance of the storm. Flooding is a major problem in Georgia. In Cobb County, only the tips of these structures are visible. And in Douglas County, flooding has left behind small piles of debris. Authorities say storm-related damages for the state of Georgia could top the $100 million mark. 2 men from Georgia have died in the storm. A Georgia amusement park is still packing them in despite major flooding. This is the scary scene at Six Flags close to Atlanta on Monday. Today, the park reopened despite all that water. Desperate roller coaster riders seeking an added thrill jumped on the ride, ignoring the wet conditions. The park is located just over the Fulton County line in Cobb County next to the Chattahoochee River. It's an area prone to flooding after heavy downpours. Inspections of the rides showed everything was working properly. Trouble at another amusement park, Disney World, and that's part of what's happening around America. A British teen visiting Disney World suffered cardiac arrest today after getting off one of the rides. The 16-year-old told her mother she felt strange after getting off the thrill ride, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Shortly after that, the girl's heart stopped beating, and she had to be resuscitated by emergency workers. The teen was taken to a hospital and is in surgery. Disney officials have temporarily closed that ride. Brad Pitt is feeling under the weather after a trip to Africa. Pitt checked himself into a Los Angeles area hospital last night, complaining of flu-like symptoms. He just returned from Ethiopia with co-star Angelina Jolie after picking up Jolie's newly adopted daughter. Pitt's publicist says it's not known if the actor picked up the flu bug while traveling. She has traveled the world, bringing her warm smile and outstretched arms to millions. The woman known as the Hugging Saint is in Washington, D.C. for the next few days, a place some say needs more love. Amma, as she is called, is from India. She began hugging people at an early age. It's estimated Amma has hugged at least 21 million people over the last 30 years. It is less than 17 hours to go now before liftoff in Florida. Has the shuttle Discovery been fixed? That story is 2 minutes away on News 6 Nightcast.
Closed captioning on WECT is brought to you by these sponsors.
So, I was in the mood for a cool dip. Enter the new fruit and walnut salad, McDonald's newest premium salad. Crisp apples, juicy grapes, and crunchy walnuts with cool, low-fat yogurt. Who needs the beach? I have McDonald's.
See what you've been missing? Digital cable from Time Warner gives you over 200 channels to choose from and a variety of great networks. Plus digital cable features an interactive on-screen program guide, parental controls, one-touch VCR programming, and a host of other features. And it's so easy to use. Save up to $36.95 per month until the end of the year when you sign up for a DigiPick package with Time Warner Cable. Call today.
Attention, big number one, Capital Ford of Wilmington announces Ford family pricing. You've heard the rumors, now it's true. 2005 Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs employee priced. F-150 Explorer Expedition, Ranger Super Duty Escape and Focus, even the all-new Ford 500 and Freestyle. You pay what Ford employees pay, plus you keep the rebates. Ford family pricing for a limited time only. Does Ford family pricing make Capital Ford of Wilmington the undisputed price leader? Uh-huh.
Hi, honey. Any luck yet?
Not really.
Finding a new home shouldn't be this hard. An experienced RE/MAX agent can help you find the perfect home across town or around the world.
I guess finding the right home isn't a job for amateurs.
Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
Get 2 sausage McGriddle sandwiches for just $2 at participating locations for a limited time. Many locations are open 24 hours.
Where news comes first. You're watching Francis Weller, Jim Hanchen, Chief Meteorologist George Elliott, and Bob Bonner with sports on News 6 Nightcast.
Much more than just the space shuttle will be taking off in Florida tomorrow. Hitchhiking on the Discovery will be NASA's hopes of restoring its reputation, and President Bush's hopes of putting humans back on the moon and even sending them to Mars. So, is the Discovery ready for that burden? Jay Gray's story is new at 11.
Late work continues on the shuttle Discovery, part of the final preparations before the return-to-flight launch.
We're in good shape.
There were concerns that may not be the case late Tuesday when a plastic and foam window cover fell from the cockpit, damaging 2 black thermal tiles near the tail of the spacecraft.
Changing out carrier panels for us is something we do on a daily basis. This is a minor repair for us.
A minor repair, but perhaps a major humiliation for a mission that has been so thoroughly scrutinized.
Not embarrassed in the sense that I just think it's just one of those things that happen.
Crews repaired the problem quickly and stressed the mishap should not affect the launch schedule or confidence in the mission.
How do we know we're not getting go fever? Because we're working through the process. We're asking all the questions and answering them appropriately. If we can't answer them, we'll stop.
Though NASA's chief administrator does admit there is no way space exploration can be 100% fail-safe.
Can there be something that we don't know about that can bite us? Yeah. This is a very tough business.
A business that the American space program hopes to return to Wednesday afternoon after 2.5 years on the ground. Now again, technically everything with this mission is a go right now. The one concern here is if the weather will cooperate. NASA says there's a 40% chance that rains could delay tomorrow's scheduled launch. At Kennedy Space Center, Jay Gray, WECT News 6. Now, Jim, back to you.
All right, thanks, Jay. Now stay with News 6 for the liftoff tomorrow. We'll carry NBC's coverage of the countdown live tomorrow, beginning at about 3:30 in the afternoon. That is, George, if it doesn't rain.
Yeah, and those rains or thunder showers are the typical summer-like variety, not connected to any tropical weather system, which we do have out there in the Atlantic Ocean, which we will examine in just a moment, as well as our forecast, high forecast for the next 7 days.
Why is my Dixie Stampede the most fun place to eat? Now that you know, y'all come over and join in on the fun.
Visit Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede Dinner and Show.
It's the most fun place to eat in Myrtle Beach, I guarantee it.
1 in 5 athletes with asthma carries an inhaler. 4 out of 5 don't.
The danger in not having the inhaler is that when you get out on the field, that you'll have some trouble with chest symptoms. You'll have trouble with cough. You may have trouble with wheezing.
In very rare cases, exercise-induced asthma can be deadly.
You don't want to wait till it's too late.
don't forget the inhaler.
WECT's Connecting with Kids, brought to you by these sponsors.
Enjoy your ride, sir.
Thanks.
You're good to go.
Thanks.
Sorry.
She's all yours. Enjoy.
Hey, here's the deal. I think you're gonna like it.
Wow, this is great. With deals this big, they're hard to believe. Sign and drive lease the 05 Tundra Double Cab for just $299 a month for 48 months with absolutely zero due at signing. Toyota's big one. That's moving you forward.
WECT News 6 is proud to be recognized by the Radio Television News Directors Association of the Carolinas with 19 awards, more than any other local station, including Best Newscast, Best Spot News, Best Feature, Best Educational, Best Investigative, plus Best Sportscast and Best Sportscaster. The real prize? It's you, making WECT Southeastern North Carolina's news leader. WECT, where news comes first.
This week on Jeopardy! Friends, shall we dance? Am I blue? Double U.
Weeknights at 7:30 on WECT.
Accurate and dependable. Here is your sky-warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist George Elliott.
Big weather news here. It's very muggy, very warm. Wrightsville Beach, Skywarn Neighborhood Network. 82 degrees at Wrightsville Beach right now. Similar up and down the Carolina beaches. So very warm, very humid, that's for sure, across all the area tonight, and it looks like tomorrow as well. Now our rooftop, we're looking at 80 degrees on the hour. So warm and humid. Spot shower, not out of the question tonight. Better chance as we go through tomorrow. Latest radar shows us, and satellite composite, shows us the main shower activity rotating mid-part of the country. What's left over of Denver? What's left over of Dennis there? I'm sure all of Denver's still there. Well, I hope so anyway. We have some clouds, but just a spot shower possible as we rotate some energy off of Dennis, our direction tonight. It's warm, though, 80-ish temperature-wise now, when we're looking at very high humidities across the area. No change to that pattern. A little cooler as you head up toward the mountains by several degrees after some rain-cooled air there, but still humid. 81 in Wilmington on the hour, 82 Myrtle Beach, 80 in Hatteras, and a lot of humidity. 91 today's high, normal's 90. 103 record high, record for the day, record for the month. Never been warmer since the late 1800s when records began officially. Warm tropical overnight low, and the same thing comes up tonight. How about tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock or so, morning drive, 80-ish for the temperature, isolated shower possible. Not widespread, begins to get a little more widespread in the afternoon tomorrow, so just like today. Highs around 90-ish, lows mid to high 70s, and a whole bunch of humidity out there with those scattering of showers and thunder showers. Looks like that general pattern for the week. 12 hours ago, this is what Emily looked like out over here over the Atlantic. A perspective of the map shows us the Windward Islands, Haiti, Dominican Republic, there's Florida. Here we are up in the Carolinas. Okay, let's see. Last 12 hours or so, watch a small decrease in thunderstorm activity, and then we'll watch a little increase in thunderstorm activity. It's a large storm aerial coverage-wise, and it's going to be intensifying, as it has. We've got 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds with Emily right now. It's booking westward, 20 miles an hour. Will continue to do so. Moving mostly west, has drifted southward a little bit over the past few hours. That's good. Big area of high pressure to the north of it will steer this basically west and eventually up toward the northwest. Eventually, probably way on down the line, up toward the Yucatan Peninsula. Well, right now, it is 60-mile-an-hour winds moving west to 20. 10.7 north, 54.7 west. It's a busy season, way earlier than normal. 8 tomorrow morning, you'll see it way down to the south and east of Barbados, coming into the southern Windward Islands, north of Trinidad by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening as a hurricane. Then we move it westward some more, basically a west track. Category 1 hurricane through Thursday morning, Category 2 through Thursday afternoon and night, Category 3 possible by Friday south of Haiti as central sections of the Caribbean, and then continuing in this cone of potential error for Saturday, and Sunday might be off your TV screen, but that's by Sunday up toward the Yucatan Peninsula. It looks as though it will stay to our south. Hopefully that pattern will continue, and it does look like a strong one too. Well, tonight around here, just humid, mid to high 70s, and an isolated shower not out of the question. That's about it. Tomorrow, like it was today, 90-ish for a high, high humidity, light wind, spotty showers and thunderstorms. Along the coast, southwest 10 knots. High tide 12:30, low at 7 tomorrow morning. Water temps in the mid to high 80s. Ooh, it's warming up. 6+1 forecast. 90-ish for highs, mid 70s for lows, humid, spotty showers and thunderstorms. Right through the weekend. As long as Emily stays south, we just keep the typical summer-like pattern, and I think I'll go for that.
All right. George, I have a question for you. Is a meteorological term, is it humidity or humidity?
Well, it's really humidity, but scientists like to say humidity.
I see.
I know it's humidity.
Humidity.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You've cleared that up
It's
for
the same
us.
thing as the muggies.
The muggies.
Yes.
Okay. That's another technical term.
Oh, yeah, it's in my book.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We enjoy your book. Our search for the world's most obscure sports takes us to the Netherlands tonight. We'll explain why organizers think this race is making an important point. That's in 2 minutes on Nightcast.
Scott Peterson guilty, Mark Hacking charged. Why does a husband kill?
Oprah goes to prison face to face with the pastor who murdered his wife.
I didn't want to talk about that. Well, you're going to have to do better than that.
Plus, her husband, a Cub Scout leader, a tennis coach, stabbed her over 50 times. She survived. Her children did not. Next, Oprah.
Weekdays at 4 on WECT.
In the world of burgers, this one is the godfather. Ruby Tuesday's new Mamma Mia burger. One of 30 famous burgers. Only at Ruby Tuesday. So good, it's guaranteed. At Ruby Tuesday, we've got a burger that comes from the sea, but tastes like it came from heaven. The Jimmy Jack's Crab Cake Burger. One of 30 famous burgers. Only at Ruby Tuesday. So good, it's guaranteed.
The taste is pure cinnamon sensation. Cinnamon toast crunch. Light crispy little squares of toasted wheat and rice. Baked with love, then kissed with sweet cinnamon sugar. The aroma, the taste, the legend.
Frank.
Yes.
Enough.
It was him.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Breakfast on a whole other level.
Thanks, buddy.
Who's your daddy?
I'm the daddy.
It's no doubt hurricane season with Dennis this week and Emily looming in the Atlantic. Wednesday on Carolina in the Morning, we'll show you websites dedicated to documenting extreme weather.
At Suncom, they really listen to their customers. You asked for it, and here it is.
The whole country's in your hands. Introducing the new Suncom America plan. Call anywhere, everywhere, all across America on the Suncom America network with no roaming charges. 900 minutes are only $65 a month. All taxes and fees included. Only at Suncom.
Suncom brings you truth in wireless.
We're Suncom, and we get it.
You asked me to do some research on the Chrysler Group?
I'm waiting.
They have their most award-winning and freshest lineup ever. 12 vehicles with 5-star frontal crash test rating and projected to retain their value better than GM or Ford.
Yada, yada, yada.
You forgot the most important part of all, the deal.
It's Employee Pricing Plus, our employee discount plus up to an extra $3,500 cash allowance.
So I'd say if you can find a better car, buy it. Couldn't have said it better myself, kid.
Tonight, Jay's all new with War of the Worlds, Dakota Fanning. Plus, Terrence Howard, the Prez, and a history pop quiz.
What is the First Amendment?
Don't cheat on your wife.
Don't cheat on your wife.
And tomorrow, Jay's got Johnny Depp. Then on Conan, Scarlett Johansson and Jeffrey Tambor. All new moves tonight.
If you pick up tomorrow's Wilmington Star News, you'll already know one of the headlines, thanks to this tip from Jeff Heideck at the paper. Jeff?
Hi, Jim. If you're looking for a decadent but dainty way to satisfy your sweet tooth this summer, you might want to look at a new twist on a childhood treat, the cupcake. The pint-sized desserts have gone upscale with complicated recipes and creative new twists. We'll show you how you can make your own, including one that looks like an ice cream cone, tomorrow in the Star News. Jim?
All right. Thanks, Jeff. In this country, NASCAR is one of the fastest growing sports, but in the Netherlands, they're racing buggies. Yes, they are, electric buggies. Raced around a course. They're driven by elderly citizens from 13 Dutch homes. The event organized to promote greater mobility for the elderly. The buggies were fitted with seats, armrests, handlebars, and shopping baskets and had a top speed of a little more than 7 miles an hour. The drivers competed in teams, and a team from Rotterdam finished first, although I believe, Bob, at the last minute, Tony Stewart came up from behind, bumped one of those guys, and sent him flying.
From what I was told, that whole time, the winner, he had his blinker on the whole time.
The whole time?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, well.
Baseball going on tonight. The All-Star game, it's going deep into the night. They're doing that thing right now where every person
just goes on and on.
So it's dragging on right now. I think they've gone to the 9th inning, so if you're a baseball fan, that's where that's at. Basketball, though, it's the will he, won't he, or when will he? Marvin Williams, Atlanta Hawks, has he signed? Well, we'll update you next in sports.
It's the Jerry Porter Sweet 16 Anniversary Sale, and we're celebrating with Red Tag savings on every car on the lot. Now is absolutely the best time to buy. Red Tag discounts on over 300 new and used, all makes and models, including SUVs, vans, and trucks. Red Tags on 05 Tauruses and Sables at $12,816. 05 Grand Marquis for just $15,716. And 05 Town Cars tagged for only $28,916. Don't miss this sale at Jerry Porter, the name you can trust. Market Street, Wilmington.
She's stalking the child she gave up.
Am I doing something wrong?
You take pictures of him with a telephoto lens.
This is what I needed to do.
That's not your right.
And their story touched millions.
They were days away from adopting when the birth mother just changed her mind.
Now, be there.
I want you to have my baby.
When Dr. Phil makes their littlest dream come true.
I could just stare at him all day long.
Next, Dr. Phil.
You think I could hold him?
Weekdays at 3 on WECT.
Hi, honey. You've got to check this out.
What? What are we listening to?
I had digital phone service installed today.
It sounds just like before.
I know, but it's going to save us a ton of money.
With Time Warner Cable's home phone service, you can call anywhere in the U.S. and Canada for one low monthly price.
That does sound good.
You should hear the upstairs phone.
Switch to digital phone service from Time Warner Cable.
On the next Jane Pauley show, Stacey London knows what not to wear.
It's all about tough love. I mean, somebody's got to tell you.
And she will.
What are you doing in close-up look like socks?
Stacey London on the next Jane Pauley show.
Weekdays at 10 on WECT.
Oprah goes to prison, face-to-face with the pastor who murdered his wife.
I didn't want to talk about that. Well, you're going to have to do better than that.
Next, Oprah. Weekdays at 4 on WECT.
News 6 Sports with Bob Bonner, voted Best Sportscaster and voted Best Sportscast.
When I was 19, I was still living with my parents. No girlfriend, no prospect of one, and still had to ask Dad for some cash when I did find someone to go out with. What I'm trying to say is I'm no Marvin Williams. Actually, I was pretty much a dork when I was 19. Within the hour, the 19-year-old freshman phenom signed with the Atlanta Hawks, becoming the last of the top 10 draft picks to sign on the dotted line. He's a very rich man as of tonight. As a forward in Chapel Hill, Williams didn't start a single game, did average 11.3 points, or as I've written in my script, points, and 6 rebounds for the national champions. Atlanta's highest draft pick since 1975 has been working out with the Hawks summer squad over the last 2 days. The summer months, prime feeding time for the Sharks in the Outer Banks region of North Carolina. Tonight, the Wilmington Sharks hoping that continue to be true. A win over the Daredevils would be the Sharks' 11th road win of the season and give them a league-best 23rd overall win. And road win number 11 comes in 11. The Sharks do get it done, 7-4, despite giving up 2 in the bottom of the ninth, the forced bonus baseball. Brad Chalk, 3 for 6. UNCW's John Rayner goes 1 for 4 with a run batted in. Win Pelzer, the 4th Shark pitcher to enter the game. He picked up his 4th win of the season. Now the Sharks return home tomorrow night. They will take on the Florence Red Wolves. Now at the Dixie Youth All-Star Game, championship Garrett Scoggins, an RBI in the top of the 6th gives Leland a 5-4 win over Bunn. With that win, Leland takes the state title. So congratulations to the 8-year-old. Not uncommon for soccer players to dance after scoring a goal. Tomorrow night, the Hammerheads will do their best to pull off the Texas two-step. Wilmington took care of the Dallas Burn back in 2003, and as Kevin Hull reports, now they have their sights fixed on FC Dallas.
The memories of that rainy night still strong.
2 years ago, I think we did okay.
Beat up on Dallas 4-1.
It's one of my good memories that I have.
A rematch tomorrow night Dallas of the MLS hosting the Hammerheads in the U.S. Open Cup.
In our league, I think everyone always tries to beat up on us, and it's nice to just get away and ease the pressure a little bit and go there and just try to make an upset, in the Open Cups.
But the upset must happen in Texas.
I'd really like to have brought Dallas back here. It would have been great for our fans, but it wasn't meant to be.
And this will be a different Dallas team than the one from 2 years ago. The 2005 version is in first place.
No one expects us to win.
All the pressure's on them.
Anything can happen. It's a crazy game we play.
And the upset-minded Hammerheads try to pull another big one tomorrow to net more happy memories. Kevin Hall, News 6 Sports.
Kenny Bundy named to the latest UL Second Division Team of the Week. The Mohawks won at a pair of assists in the Hammerheads' win over Northern Virginia last week. For the season, Bundy owns 2 goals, total of 8 points, which ranks him 3rd on the Hammerheads team. Lance Armstrong regains the lead at the Tour de France. Armstrong finished 2nd in the first mountain stage. He gained enough to own a 38-second lead over the 2nd-place rider. And the 6-time winner did damage on the 13.8-mile climb, just barely finishing 2nd to Spain's. Here we go, Jim. Alejandro Valverde was considered one of the Texans' main rivals this season. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up on the links. Your play of the day looks like a little routine here putt for Michelle Wee. Rolls it in, but that putt could be part of history. Wee made the cuts at the Amateur Pub Links, and she could, if she wins this whole thing, she could become the first woman ever to play at the Masters, because the winner of that gets the automatic exemption. All-Star Game final, National League takes it 7-5. Or American League takes it, I'm sorry, 7-5.
I'm more interested in the Dixie kids from Leland.
Yes, 5-4 winners.
There are all-stars tonight.
Yes, 8 years old.
Yeah.
My parents called me tonight, told them I'd put it on, so congratulations to them. I'm sure the 8-year-olds probably wiped out by now, but they did it. They get an RBI in the 6th inning. That's all they play, and the game's over.
Good enough.
Yes.
And your youth was pathetic, huh?
Yes, well, thank you.
I agree with that. It sounds like a Tom Hanks movie, a man stuck between countries at the airport. Find out why this guy really knows his way around the terminal. That's coming up in less than 2 minutes. This is Nightcast.
We all have a hand in the health of our community. Every day, a miracle happens. Donations for the Women's and Children's Center help continue its commitment to the latest technology and treatment of our smallest and most fragile patients. On Easy Street, generous donors help build the path to recovery. Here, the real world is recreated to help patients regain physical skills, confidence, and independence. With your helping hand, we can continue to improve health care in our community and make possible those special touches we all want for our loved ones.
Millions of American families rely on Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury cars, trucks, and sport utilities. Right now, Ford Motor Company, America's car company, invites you to join the family and pay the same low prices our employees and their families pay. Introducing the Ford Family Plan. Until August 1st, you'll get our discounts on every Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicle at participating dealerships. No hassles, no gimmicks. From the Ford family to yours, welcome.
You can buy this stool at a fancy schmancy furniture store. They call it an ottoman, and it costs $499. I call that crazy. You see, for the same price, you can afford a whole lot more at Room Store. Like this. We call it a sofa. You can buy it at Room Store for just $499. I call that smart. Very smart. We put it all together and save you more. Room Store.
Accurate, dependable. Mark Avery and Skywarn TrueView.
It is like something out of Hollywood. A former Kenyan national who spent more than a year living in Nairobi's airport has finally gotten a break. British citizenship. Sanjay Shah was refused entry to the UK last year when he arrived with a British overseas citizen passport. Because he'd already given up his Kenyan passport, he was left stateless and lived at the Nairobi airport for 13 months. He had to wash in airport bathrooms, lived on food given to him by people working in the airport restaurants. Today, all of that was resolved when he was sworn in as a British citizen. 13 months in an airport.
Yeah, 13 months of airport airline food.
Yeah.
Lived on peanuts, apparently.
Yeah.
That
open
story,
those bags.
That's just the excuse. He was really waiting for his baggage.
Yep, there it is.
That's what he was there for 13 months for.
Yeah, all right. We're out of baggage. Have a good night.
You're watching NBC, America's late night leader.
It's the